Why am I doing this? To myself? Hello everyone, it's Becca from Becca Books and Bujo, and I am going to read House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski. A couple of years ago, I was watching a video from Kayla. Books and Lala is her name here on YouTube, and she was talking about this book called House of Leaves. And I drank the tea. I thought that this book would be phenomenal. It was like a story about a haunted house, and you were in the haunted house. I thought books that were written in mixed media sounded super cool. And so when someone gave me a Barnes & Noble gift card, I immediately bought this book. And now it's time to finally read it. I am a little scared. Some of these pages are going to be a breeze to get through. And then some of them have 1,000 words on them. I don't know much about this book going in, besides that the house that this family lives in is bigger on the inside than what it is on the outside. And I think we're just following along as they discover this house. So let's just start reading and see what we find out. Okay, I've read the intro, and it is like in typewriter font. Like, can you see? And so many words per page. It took me forever to just read the introduction, and we haven't even gotten to page 1. So, basically, what I know is a gentleman by the name of Johnny has found this man's record or account of a house, and we are going to read that account with some of his thoughts interspersed. Right? Sure. That's what I'm getting. It's a lot of words for just, the setup of the book. But yeah, let's keep going. Okay, so Davidson. I don't even know what his name is. Tom? No. What's his name? The man who lives in the house. He is fixating on the fact that the inside of the house is a 1/4 inch bigger than the outside of the house. And in my mind, I would just be like, well, my measurements are off. Moving on. But no, he measures it hundreds of times, gets other people in to measure it, and is like super fixated on this. But I guess it's a little unsettling, and that's the whole point. It's supposed to be unnerving, unsettling, and we really get into his brain because of how freaked out he is by this. Yeah, just leaves us a little unsettled. Which also, the book goes into a whole 40-page, okay, not that much, I'm exaggerating, but a huge long description of what it means to feel unsettled. It feels like I'm reading an essay with all the footnotes and like the resources, the citations. It's exhausting. It's gonna take me all month to get through this book, I think. I lied. The word wasn't unsettled. It was uncanny. And the definition comes from German, and it means not at home. Sorry, I lied. And now we're getting this many pages on the physics and definitions of echo. Seriously. What? This is all about echo. one of the footnotes from Johnny has told us to reference one of the appendices at the back, and it was just a bunch of letters from Johnny's mother, so that we could kind of get a look into who Johnny was and where he came from. Well, Johnny's mother is basically in an insane asylum and thinks that the director of the asylum is out to get her, and so she comes up with this code. And so I just read, I don't even know how many pages, 4 pages of, semi-easier text, but the first letter of every word is actually what she's trying to get across from you. So, like, it says, "Dearest everything and remarkably elegant seraphim's truth, Johnny, oh heavens, nearing you." But it's actually supposed to say, dearest Johnny. Let me show you another example. Okay, can you see this? Tell Hope everything you hear and value every fine outward understanding near day at windows and your yada. But it's actually, they have found a way to break me. I think this book has found a way to break me. This is exhausting to read. It's just, oh my goodness. The letters at first were like, oh, this is so easy and fun to read. Letters from a mother to her son. And then it gets to this and it's like, oofty. Took a while for my brain to compute. And then we just kind of like go into this spiral with Johnny's mom and spiral. Do you see it? Do you see it with the text? Oofta. Yeah. It is crazy.
Why does it do this?
Okay, so we've got the Reston interview 85. I go down to the footnote 85. See Exhibit 4 for the complete transcript of the Reston interview. So I had to find Exhibit 4 all the way back here. Exhibit 4, instructions. Reproduce all facilities of the Reston interview and the last interview. 429. Missing. I had to go through all of that page flipping for missing.
Hello, I am now 100 pages into this monster of a book, and I feel like I can give you a much better synopsis than what I gave in earlier clips. I don't even know what I said. I feel like I was so confused that none of my words made sense. So, we are reading the Davidson record. Davidson is a man who lived in this house, who dealt with all of these crazy things that were going on in the house. In his record, which is written by Zampano. Yeah, Zampano. I don't know how you pronounce it, but Zampano, we'll say. Written by Zampano, who's this old man who died at the beginning, and Truant, what's his name? Johnny Truant found Zampano's notes, or Zampano's essay called The Davidson Record. In the Davidson Record, written by Zampano, we are following the movie called The Davidson Record that Davidson, the guy who lived in the house, made while he was in the house. Okay, so we're rereading the Davidson Record, which was written by Zampano, which covered a movie made by Davidson. And we are rereading the Davidson Record, written by Zampano, with the eyes of Johnny Truant, who is writing some footnotes and stuff. Okay? So it goes Johnny Truant, Zampano, Davidson, and then the movie. Okay. So we are reading the Davidson Record. How many times can I say this? I'm clarifying it for myself too, because wow, it's something. In the Davidson Record, we're getting this uncanniness, right? There are things that this family notices. It's a family of 4. Davidson, his wife, and their two young children, which is just creepy because I would not want my young children living in this house. But we're following Davidson as he is realizing that something is off about this house. Then all of a sudden one day, a doorway shows up in the middle of a hall, like a wall. And on the other side of that wall is the outdoors. And he shows that this hallway, this door that leads into a hallway, shows up randomly, and he takes a video of like walking outside of the house, showing that there's no hallway, this uninterrupted clip. And he has promised his wife that he's not going to go down this hallway. Well, one day he does, to explore. And it's just like a never-ending set of hallways, and then he gets to this big room. So he calls in some professionals. He calls in Tom Holloway. I still don't know Davidson's first name. Do I? I don't know. He's called Davidson. I feel like I should know it, but I don't. He calls in Tom Holloway and his group of guys to do deep explorations into the hallway and whatever is past the hallway. That's about where I am right now. They have done 3 explorations. The first was Davidson's exploration, and then explorations 2 and 3, the experts have gone down into the hallway. Exploration 1 was real spooky because Davidson almost gets lost, can't find his way back to his house. Luckily, him screaming for his family and his daughter waking up saying she had a nightmare got him back to his house. Exploration 2, the men find this staircase and can't even like hear a bottom, see a bottom. They drop a flare down there, they hear nothing. So then in exploration 3, they go down the staircase, try to find the bottom of it, and they can't. So then, we're now in the middle of exploration 4. Sorry, my dogs. 100 pages in. We're in the middle of exploration 4, and the men have packed tents, food. They are planning on staying 4 to 5 nights in this hallway cave, trying to find the bottom of this stairway. It's like not scary, but like the whole section about uncanniness and like unsettled feelings. That's what it is. It's just like, this hallway should not be here. This large thing, this stairway should not be here. And they sometimes hear sounds when they're in this dark, freezing hallway. It's weird, friends. Last night I found myself not wanting to go to bed because I wanted to find out what was going on in Exploration 4. But now it's starting to, like in just a few pages, some of the text is starting to get weird, like red font and things crossed out. And so it's going to start getting exciting, I think. I mean, not that it hasn't been exciting, but I feel like some serious, horrific things are maybe going to start. And like, look at this. I think I have to read this part right here with a mirror because it's backwards. I assume we're going to get multiple accounts of like what's going on. So that's where we're at, 100 pages in. I'll keep chatting with you as I go. It's an interesting time, but yeah, I started this on the 1st of the month. It's now the 6th. Wait, no. What? That's wrong. Why is my watch doing this to me? It's the 12th of October, and I've made it 100 pages in. Granted, I had that section where I had to read the letters from the very back, so I read maybe about 50 or 60 pages in the back, and like the last 40 pages is all index. So who knows how many pages this really is and how far I am into the book. Which I think is the point. You don't know how far you are into the house. Okay, I have been talking too long. I'll update you when I have more to say. Alrighty, quite a bit of time has passed since I last updated you on House of Leaves. I read chapter 9, which if you don't know, chapter 9 is like the crazy long chapter that makes you turn the book sideways and upside down and read backwards, and it's like you are in a labyrinth. It's funny because the first half of the chapter is the history of labyrinths and talks about the Minotaur who was in the labyrinth in Greek mythology and all this crazy stuff. But as you're reading about the labyrinth, it is having you reference back and forth between footnotes. You honestly feel like you are lost in a maze. It's super cool, a super cool concept that this author has created for us as readers. But also it was aggravating beyond belief. I was ready to give up. I was like, I'm referencing the same footnote I just referenced 20 minutes ago. This is ridiculous. So I didn't give up though, kept going. The plot of that chapter is that the Expedition 4 has happened and these 3 gentlemen that they have hired to explore the cave have gone down but are lost. And so Navidson and his brother and one other guy, Reston, they go to find them. And they bring extra rations of food and water and anything they think they would need to try to rescue these gentlemen. Oh wait, completely forgot. In Expedition 4, Holloway, the leader of these 3 men, kind of goes crazy. The cave gets to him and he goes crazy, gets out his gun and starts shooting at people, and the other 2 men try to escape from him. They're getting out of here. They're gonna get out of this cave. But then Holloway shows up in random places and shoots at them because he thinks that they're the monsters. It's craziness. So anyway, the people back in the house haven't heard from the expedition group in a while. And so they go down and they decide one person is going to stay at the top of the stairs and Navidson and Reston are going to go down to try to find the first group. So first, in the next chapter, chapter 10, I believe it is, we follow Navidson and Reston as they go try to find, what are their names? Holloway, Wax, I want to say. Is that a name? Wax or Jex or something. And they end up finding them. They can't find Holloway, and they need to try to find or rescue them, but they know that Holloway is out there with a gun, and all of a sudden, like out of this random hallway that just shows up because that's what happens in this cave, hallways and random stairs show up anywhere. Holloway sees them from afar and shoots at them, and these like 50 doors in this hallway like close all at once. It's like boom, 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 and Holloway's trying to like get them. It's like a very dramatic scene. It was very, hi Bonnie, it was very thrilling and like, holy smokes, if this were a movie, which it kind of was, Zampano, who wrote this record, was actually watching the movie and commenting on it, so very interesting. Anyway, the men end up getting severely hurt, but they, Navidson and Reston decide that they still want to save these other 2 gentlemen, and so they get like gurneys and they get to this main stairway where they're going to get them back up to the top, and the 2 men who they lift up on gurneys make it to the top. It was a shortened stairway. Did I say that? For some reason, it wasn't this miles-long stairway that it was for the first expedition crew. It was way short because Navidson has this idea that it's all like a mind game. The house forms and morphs into what you think it is. So he thought it was short, so he made it shorter, whatever. They try to get these men up on the gurneys. They get them up, and just as Will Navidson is going to go up the hallway, or the stairway, I should say, it lengthens. It gets to be what they calculate to be like 50,000 miles or something crazy like that. Like, no way is he getting up these stairs. So they go back to the house, like being chased by this weird sound. And then we jump to like the accounts of Davidson's brother, Tom, who was at the top of the stairs waiting for some sort of rescue. And it's just like his stream of conscience. And it's like weird, creepy, eerie because he's in this black pit of despair by himself, doesn't know what sounds are, doesn't know who's coming. And yeah, so we get that chapter. I think that's 11. And then we get past, I'm sorry, I'm just like, this book is a maze. We get, where am I? Yep, so that was chapter 12. 13 is when we are back in the house with Karen and we see these gentlemen come running back out of the hallway into the house, but Davidson isn't with them. And so Karen is grieving. She thinks that her husband is lost in this house forever. The other men that Reston brings back with him, Reston and Tom bring back with him, are, I mean, fatally wounded. And so they're waiting on an ambulance. And the poor children in the situation, Chad and Daisy, is that their names? They're just like sitting on the stairs watching this man bleed out, and it is just nuts. And so then that night, when things have kind of settled down, Karen is grieving for her husband, but also like trying to pack up and get out of this house because it's madness. All of a sudden, Davidson comes out of the hallway. What? He found his way out. And so now the section that I'm at is kind of recounting how Davidson got out. And like, he had to keep this hope alive as he was getting out of the hallway, and like his brain, his mind power conquered the house and he got out. So now we are kind of following the events that happened after, because a man was murdered in this house and the police need to figure out who murdered him. There's actually a man still stuck down in the house, Holloway, and are they going to try to find him because he's a murderer and convict him, or are they just going to leave him down there forever? Yada yada. That's where I'm at right now. I really don't understand how there can be this much more. Well, okay, not this much more. Let's see. This much more. But still, that's 200 pages. I'm like, I don't want to read that. But I will. And hopefully I can get it done. Like I said, I took kind of a long break from this book, like a whole week. And now we are closing in on the end of October, and I really want to get this done for like spooky season. So that's where we're at. Sorry for the long update, but yeah, hopefully it's like I want to keep reading because it's so intriguing, and like I want to know what is actually going on at this house, but also I think I could just put it down and never pick it up again. Weird. Okay, talk to you later.
Now I'm reading text that has been bracketed out, but the brackets are where burn marks have been, because I guess this text was set on fire at some point. So this is really fun to read. She says sarcastically.
Hello. This book is so crazy. I can't even remember the last thing I told you about it. I think the escape happened and Davidson walked out and was like, hey, I'm here. I made it out of the house. So then after that, the house implodes on itself, like completely morphs into this huge unending pit. And somebody dies again, and it's madness. It's a place they need to escape, get out of. It's done for. But then Davidson starts doing some soil sample tests, or the tests on the soil samples that he took when he went down into the house. And it's like, this house tells a history all the way back from the beginning of time. Like, he took soil samples from 6 million years ago. So it's just like craziness what this house has inside of it. Also, we find out that Karen and Davidson are separated. Davidson is working on all of these soil sample tests and talking with his friends about the experiments that he's doing. And Karen is up in New York City with her kids and working on a film and showing this film to people and asking what their perceptions are of this house. People are thinking that it's this made-up story that she came up with. But like, even Stephen King talks about watching it, and he was like, wait, this house is real, right? Can I see it? It's just like, what? You get so many different aspects of this house, and who's hearing about it and what they're thinking is real and what isn't real. And basically where we're at is Davidson has gone back to the house. That's where I am right now. He is on his way. He left a note for Karen, basically his last will and testament, saying, Karen, I loved you, but I have to go back to this house. Here's what you need to know about my life, yada yada. I miss Daisy, I miss Chad, but I've got to go back to this house. And then it goes into like a 20-page rant about the different theories. There are 3 different theories that psychologists came up with as to why he went back to the house. Does he want to have power over the house? Is the house like his grief being personified? And then the last one is very interesting about like mental illness and how each person in the movie is kind of on a 1 to 10 scale of how they deal with this this illness going on in their heads, and the discomfort rating that they have after being in this house. And it goes all the way from 0, Alicia Rosenbaum, who I believe was the teacher that went there. I didn't even talk about that. Don't worry. Someone who hardly had any interactions with the house. And it goes all the way up to a 10, and a 10 is a Will Davidson, and how he had obsessive behavior and weight loss and insomnia and night terrors. And so it like goes up in a scale like that. So that's where we just ended off. But there's gonna be another expedition, folks. I talked earlier about expeditions 1 through 4, and the 4th expedition led to the escape that needed to happen, Will Davidson going in and rescuing the people who went on that 4th expedition. And now there's going to be a 5th expedition, and it's just going to be Will Davidson, and he has been planning it while he's been away from Karen. And I can tell that something's gonna happen and be funky, because in the next few pages we get something like this again, which means that he is in the hallway in the house. So I assume that Expedition 5 is gonna get crazy, and I will update you soon. We're getting to crunch time, folks. I have like 110 pages left. Like, just gonna show you this much I have left, and I would really like to finish it by tomorrow. We'll see. There's a lot going on in my life, but I would love to get this finished. It would literally take me 31 days then, because I started it on October 1st and I would finish it on Halloween, October 31st. So I hope that I'm reading this book and telling you about it so that you don't have to. It's terrible to say. Like I've been saying this whole time, it's so interesting and amazing how this author wrote this book, but it's a lot. Anyway, talk to you in a bit. One thing I wanted to show you, this was really cool. We're closing in on the end of the book here, but Davidson is crawling through like a shrinking hallway. Like imagine Willy Wonka in the chocolate factory, if you know what I'm talking about. But it's cool, like the words get smaller and smaller in a smaller box, and then he is like crawling on his stomach so they get flatter. It's just like this author really thought of it all. It's kind of cool. So here we are, and then it's like here, everything about the house suddenly changes. And it's like this black void because that's literally all that happens. And then we get crazy like kitty corner text, and the biggest surprise was, where is it? Where is it? It's right here. Music. Bars of music. Yeah, was not expecting that. Do you see the tired look on my face? Yeah, that's how I feel after finishing this book. Holy smokes. That was an experience that I don't wish on anyone. I don't know. I mean, like, super interesting. And obviously I kept reading it. It kept me up at night reading it. But it was a lot. I think the experience of reading it was better than the actual story and text, if that makes sense. So let's see. Plot-wise, since I left you, Davidson did indeed go back into the house, and this time he brought a bike so that he could cover more miles, and he made it to like this bottomless pit, and then was like floating in the middle of nowhere, and ran out of food, ran out of water, ran out of light, and was left there to die basically. But Karen, good old Karen, goes to find him, and eventually sees his clothes and camera just like shown up randomly in one of the rooms of the house, and she decides she's gonna save him. So she goes into the hallway that had turned into a closet, but she turned it back into a hallway, and manages to find him. And they live happily ever after in Vermont. And they come up with this movie. I am confused. I am tired. I feel lost. I don't know. I guess my biggest question is why Truant even needed, like he had this last chapter, those all entries in his journal, and I don't understand, because Truant decides he's going to go find this house, and the house wasn't there. And I guess Karen did say that the house dissolved around them, so the house is gone. And now I'm going to read something else, because I literally have been reading this for 30 days, and I'm ready to read something different. Let me know in the comments if you have read this book and what your thoughts were on it, or if from this video you have decided you will never read this book ever. That's okay too. It was a journey, but really one I wouldn't suggest you make. That's terrible. That's a terrible thing to say after reading this book for 30 days, but it was a lot, and I definitely don't want to read it ever again. But I'm going to put it on my shelves as a reminder of how proud I am that I completed it. And that's what this book will be. A reminder of the one time I read it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Like this video on your way out. Consider subscribing to my channel if you want to see more bookish and bullet journaling videos from me. Definitely not videos of me reading books like this ever again. That won't be up on my channel. Anyway, I will see you in the next one. Bye.